Hi everyone, this is Ms. Faina. Today I'm going to go over the distributive property. So make sure you're following along and you're going to title your notes Distributive Property. Okay, so we want to use the distributive property to write an equivalent expression. Equivalent expression means something that is equal to. Okay, we're going to end up simplifying this to make it more condensed. So when we see a number next to parentheses, we're going to multiply. And to multiply, we have to distribute that 6 to each term inside the parentheses. So 6 times x becomes 6x. 6 times 7 becomes a positive 42. And that would be it. Okay, looking at example number 2, we have a fraction, okay, being multiplied by stuff in parentheses. You are able to use your calculator for this. Okay, so I will show you how to do that quickly, so you're going to have to follow along or pause the video so you can see what I do. So I have a negative 2/3, and I'm going to multiply it by 9x. Now I cannot type in x into the calculator, but I can type in a negative 2/3 times 9. So I go over here, I type in a negative 2/3 times 9. I hit enter, I get a negative 6. Okay, so I have a negative 6x, and then I'm going to take that negative 2/3 and I'm going to multiply it by 15. So I do my handy dandy calculator. I have a negative 2/3 times 15. I get a negative 10. So I have a negative 10. And that would be simplified using the distributive property. Okay, looking at example 3, what we need to understand is that there is a 1 with that negative out in front. Okay, so we're going to distribute that negative 1 to everything in the parentheses. So I have a negative 1 times x, which gives me a negative 1x. I have a negative times a negative 25, or a negative 1 times a negative 25. Two negatives make a positive 25. And know that this we don't have to write. So on a multiple choice test, it's going to look like negative x plus 25. Okay, both of them are correct. But if it were a multiple choice test, this would be a multiple choice answer. So multiple choice answer that you would see. But again, both of them are correct. Okay, with example 4, I suggest you break it down piece by piece. So we're going to start by looking at this first part. And we're going to distribute 3 times 4p. That gives me 12p. 3 times a negative 7 gives me a negative 21. That's the first piece. Now we go on to our second piece. Okay, so again, we have that negative. Remember, it's a negative 1. And I'm going to take negative 1 times 2p. I get a negative 2p. Negative 1 times 3 is a negative 3. Now I combine like terms like we did with combining like terms video. Okay, so I have 12p minus 2p. That gives me 10p. Negative 21 minus 3. The signs are the same, so we're going to add them, and it's going to stay negative. And I get a negative 24. And now I have simplified completely for that question. Okay, the last example, it says, what is the area of a rectangle with a width of 3 and a length of 3 times f minus 7 plus 6? Well, remember, area means to multiply the length and the width. Okay, so area equals the length times the width. Well, we know the width is 3, so I'm going to replace the w with the number 3. But the length is this little complicated looking one. So before I plug that into my area formula, I want to simplify this and come up with an equivalent expression. Okay, so I am going to rewrite it, and I'm going to distribute this 3 to the f minus 7. Again, it only goes to the f minus 7 because that's in the parentheses that's directly beside it. So 3 times f is 3f. 3 times 7 is a negative 21. And then I have the plus 6 that comes down with it, that I bring down with it. Okay, I combine my like terms, negative 21 plus 6. I get 3f minus 15. This is what's going to plug in for the length. Okay, I just simplified the length that they gave me. So I have 3f minus 15. Now, typically we're used to what we're distributing being on the left side, but it can go on the right side too. It's the same concept. So we're just going to distribute 3 times 3f. We get 9f. 3 times a negative 15. We get a negative 45. And this would be our area. Okay, so if you have any questions, please reach out to your teacher and make sure you ask for help. Have a great day, Rangers.